What does a president need to be a good leader and have good leadership skills? Every president needs good leadership skills to be a magnificent president and help the country. Many of our past presidents are famous for saving the country from wars and other difficulties, but some are not as important or didn't have much of a meaning. George Washington was our first president, and he meant a lot. Well, he kind of still does. George led us through the big wars against Britain. Every president must know the amendments, and all the other histories of the country. From the first to the last president, they all should have these traits, just to make the country a better place for the environment and us. Our presidents had to have these following skills to help strive: great communication with others, continued forwards, respectful, intelligent, and confident. Lincoln was one of our best presidents. He was our 16th president, and he was President March 4th, 1861 through April 15th, 1865. Lincoln was born February 12th, 1809 in Hogganville, KY. He was president for 4 years because later he was assassinated by the South. Lincoln respected the South. Lincoln was a confident person and enjoyed learning, therefore he was very intelligent. Lincoln at one point was a lawyer, which also helps with communication. Lincoln soon got into politics and kept going. Soon enough, he was our president. Lincoln strived to help the country and is one of our best presidents. He had magnificent qualities. He was assassinated shortly after 10 p.m. on April 14th, 1865. Actor John Wilkes Booth entered the presidential box at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., and fatally shot President Lincoln. This all happened 152 years ago, was the day of Lincoln's death. George Washington had respect. He had very good leadership skills, which set the requirements needed to be president. George was our first president. He was president April 30th, 1786 through March 4th, 1797. George was confident in his words and strived to get what was right. Sadly, he ended up dying the 14th of 1799. He knew when to stop and when to keep going. George knew he had to have good communication skills to help him in the war. He studied to help him with the tasks of being president, and he was very intelligent. He died 218 years ago. Theodore Roosevelt was often ill when he was young, but he got older and it seemed to get better. Theodore Roosevelt was born October 27th, 1858 in Matana, New York City in New York. Roosevelt was often ill when he was little, but he kept going and he got older. When he got older, it was better. Roosevelt was our president September 14th, 1901 through March 4th, 1909. He was our 26th president. Roosevelt led the army during the Spanish War. Roosevelt was intelligent and improved working conditions. Roosevelt confidently and bravely led an army into war. He respected many and worked to improve their lives. He ended up dying on January 6, 1919. Franklin Roosevelt was born January 30th, 1882, in Hyde Park, New York. He helped lead the United States through some of its hardest times. It may have been hard, but he kept going. Roosevelt was president March 4th, 1933 through April 12th, 1945. He went to college even though being disabled. He was very intelligent. Roosevelt had polio, a disease that stopped him from using his legs. Roosevelt didn't know if people would still respect him the same, yet he would still respect them. Roosevelt had great communication and was able to pass a law to help get jobs, to support farmers, and to stabilize the banks. He soon died on April 12th, 1945. He was a great president, and we will always remember what he did. John F. Kennedy was one of our president's heroes. He was born May 29th, 1917 in Brooklyn, MA. He was one of our presidents, and he was the 35th president. He was president January 20th, 1961 through November 22nd, 1963. John F. Kennedy was confident, and he promoted civil rights. As a child, he was frequently sick, but nevertheless, he kept going and graduating. He was very smart. John respected others. He saved others before saving himself. That takes a lot of guts. Mr. Kennedy was able to lower taxes without his great communication. He would have been able to do as much as he did. He sadly soon died on November 22nd, 1963, ending his presidency as the vice president took office. George W. Bush is an American politician who was the 43rd President of the United States from 2001 through 2009, meaning he served for 8 years, and the 46th Governor of Texas, and around 70 years old. He was born on July 6, 1846, in 1946. In New Haven, CT, making him at one point in time. His father, George H. W. Bush, was also a president. George wasn't the safest while he was president. He was president during the terrorist attacks on September 11th, 2001. He was confident and respectful. He kept going as president, knowing the risks of death. George went to college and got a degree. He was an intelligent man. As he was president, he had great communication. George, to this day, is still alive and healthy. Many presidents have the traits listed, but some haven't. We need more presidents like our last ones. We need more George Washingtons, more Theodore Roosevelts, all the Roosevelts. We need more people with the wonderful traits our past presidents held. We will get more of the presidents we need, including all these traits. Let's hope we'll get them soon, and let's hope we all get great presidents to make this country rise and help us grow for the environment. And don't forget about us. Presidents don't just need these traits. We do too. We need more leaders with these traits. Presidents, teachers, and parents, and maybe even more people. Many don't want Donald Trump, but nevertheless, he will be our new president, and he will start January 20th, 2017. Donald Trump is hoped to be a responsible president and will contain all of these traits as his fellow presidents listed have.